So in honor of the new Strangers movie coming out, I think on Friday, even though it looks like a one-for-one copy of the original movie, but besides that, I think it'd be good to take a little trip down memory lane and revisit the second best home invasion movie of all time, behind Home Alone. So we start off with a shot of these two little Jehovah boys rolling up on a car in a driveway, but it's completely battered to shit. As they start to wander in the house, the 911 call that they sent out is overplaying this, but all the kid can really get out of his mouth is that there's blood everywhere, which I think all of us would be freaking the fuck out if we saw that. Now we jump back in time to get introduced to our lovely couple, Kristen and James. They had just left a friend's wedding reception and are on their way to James' dad's sick summer home. And you could tell that there's some weird energy going on between these two, which we'll later find out why. The door opens to reveal that James had been decorating the place with a whole romantic getup with rose petals all over the place, nice little champagne waiting there for them. He unzips Kristen's getup and doesn't even give her a little smooch, so yet again, that's how you know something's going on between these two. James goes to the living room to make a little SOS call to his best friend Mike, and he's on the phone. He's telling him things didn't go the way I planned. Man, I'd appreciate it if you can come scoop my ass up. Jumping a couple of hours back now, we get to see why the energy between James and Kristen is all fucked up. James takes Kristen out to the parking lot of their friend's wedding reception, whips the ring out of his ass and pops the big question in the parking lot. Maybe it has something to do with the answer you got, but I ain't saying shit. So now we're back in the present time, and homeboy's just chilling at the kitchen table about 4 pounds neck deep in vanilla bean. But Kristen is just apologizing for how the proposal went down. Neither of them really have any ill will towards each other. It's just overall a sad vibe between them. Not for long though, because they start getting a quick game of grab ass going because they're just looking that good in the wedding getup. You know. But just as things are about to literally pop off, we get a loud knock at the front door. That's already suspect considering it's about 4 a.m. and whoever it is just keeps on knocking. James opens the door to find some blonde-headed chick whose face is covered in a fucking shadow, asking if someone named Tamara is home. Obviously, James replies, no, you got the wrong house, which the blonde girl then responds with,
see you later.
Kristen's over there feeling the nicotine itch because she ran out of cigarettes, so James, being the class act that he is, lights a fire for her and takes off to go snag her some cigs because he just wants to drive for a while anyway because he's just up in his feels. While he's on the road, Kristen is over there diddling with the ring she turned down, just in awe by the fire. Some time passes, then all of a sudden, there's knocking at the door again. To our surprise, it's the cracked out blonde chick again, asking if Tamara is home again. Kristen's over there being like, bitch, we literally just told you they're not here. What aren't you understanding? Then she flicks the deadbolt, as she should. After scanning around the house for a little bit because she's all nervous now, the fire starts to get a little too smoky, which then sets off the fire alarm. As Kristen's faffing around with the fire alarm, yet another knock pops off at the door. Kristen is finally like, all right, fuck this shit. So she tries getting a call off on her phone, but the phone's dead. So she hooks it up to the charger and then uses the house phone to call our boy James. I will absolutely say props to her though, because I think most normal people already in this situation would be freaking out. The phone disconnects while talking to James, and then she sparks up her last ciggy, which she will absolutely be needing. As she's standing around vibing, she completely fails to see or feel the masked man emerge from the depths of hell in the living room. He stays in the background for quite a bit though, just watching her, but then of course when she finally turns around, he's nowhere to be seen. Which in all honesty, I'd rather that for her, because if I ever turned around in my fucking house to see that standing there, I'd probably die instantly. She hears a bang coming from the living room and then decides to strap up with a kitchen knife. As she's investigating, she comes across the smoke alarm put back together but now sitting on a chair, and her phone missing with the charger snipped in half. These chime noises keep going off outside though, so when she goes to investigate what the noise is, it's none other than Sackboy. The cherry on top of this entire sequence now is the continuous loop that the record player just keeps playing now that shit's hitting the fan. The front door finally pops open and that bitch sticks her face all up in it trying to catch a peek. We are now waiting on the floor to scrap with whichever poor soul wants to come through that fucking door, but thankfully it's just our homeboy James. Being the cool cat that he is though, James does a whole sweep of the house while pulling the typical, it's all good baby, there's no one here, are you sure there's someone here? Yeah, I think she would know if someone with a fucking sack on their head came in and took her phone. As he's trying to keep the feng shui in order, he fails to see that Kristen's phone is being burnt to a crisp in the fireplace. They take a peek out the window to see the creepy bitch just standing there, all menacingly. James gets the magnificent light bulb in his head to maybe go out there and try to reason with these people to see what they want, as if he's fucking Rick Grimes or something. Kristen, with an actual ounce of sense in her head, is like, you can't go out there. Meanwhile, he can't put two and two together, and he's like, why not? Why can't I go out there? The fuck do you mean why? I can give you 20 ideas off the top of my dome of why you probably shouldn't go out there with 3 masked maniacs. But whatever. James and his newfound balls head to the car to get his phone, only to see that the car has been absolutely battered to shit with the tires slit. As he's faffing around for his phone, one of the girls runs up and just gives him a cute little poke on the back of his head just to show him who's running shit. After shitting a brick, we're back in the house bandaging Kristen up, and James finally sees that his phone's been jacked up too. Now it's finally starting to sink in that we should probably get the fuck out of here. So we hop in the escape vehicle and start heading back. All of a sudden, a pickup truck whips around into the driveway and rams them from behind. They're boxed in, unfortunately, because we whip around to see Sackboy blocking the front of the fucking car. Okay, so plan G failed, so now we're back to square one. James realizes that his dad's gun's probably somewhere hidden around here, so we find that shit on top of the bookshelf and head to the bedroom. The strangers start throwing literal shit or something against the window, so we start scrambling for some ammo to retaliate. As we're about to haul ass out of this house for another attempt to escape, an axe starts busting through the front door. Sackboy's over there playing some peekaboo until James nearly shreds this dude's head into fucking cheese. We're now moving on to plan Z. We're going to sit in this room with the shotgun aimed at the door, and if any of these fucks want to come in and try anything, they're gonna have a real bad time. You know, me personally, I think this is absolutely the plan that you should do if you're blessed enough in this situation to have the shotgun. The strangers pop on a record, and then we cut to James's friend Mike pulling up the driveway. Finally, something bashes his windshield, but he doesn't get to see what the fuck it is because this movie is insanely dark. Mike obviously sees all the carnage that's been taking place and heads to the house to investigate. The music's so damn loud though that he can't hear Sackboy roll up from behind him and start just salivating at the thought of sending that axe through his head. As the music from the record hits the end, Mike peeks around the corner. James is like, hold the fuck up, that dude ain't wearing a mask. Only to realize he had just done in his poor best friend, Mikey boy. Now that James is all fucked up in the head though, his new plan is to make a beeline for the barn and snag an old radio to call for help. All the meanwhile, Kristen, yeah, you just hide somewhere. Now me personally, again, I think this plan is a fat ass no bueno, but yet again, I ain't saying shit. I'm not in the movie. Although it didn't work out too well for Mike, but what are the odds? He didn't call another friend. You don't gotta worry about another friend coming in, you kill another friend. You just sit there and you wait. One of the chicks blinds James with a cute little flashlight, and Sackboy flies up on him and knocks his ass out. Kristen makes a run for the barn, but snaps her shit up in the process, which then fucks her up for the rest of the movie. As someone finally starts responding on the radio, black-haired girl pops up from the shadow and starts hacking away at the radio, which renders it useless, obviously. As Kristen is hobbling her way back to the house, she sees their poor car engulfed in flames and the blonde bitch just vibing there on the swing set. Once back inside, we hear the classic power cut-off thud. And now the lighting in here will really make you shit your pants if it wasn't already. We get a giant near miss with Sackboy, and Kristen hobbles into the closet to hide in there like Outlast. Sackboy just pops a squat for a minute to enjoy the fire and take in the scenery, but then realizes he's got shit to do. It's not long though before a blonde bitch rolls up and ruins the day, and more importantly, that nice ass door. She starts thinking she's the shit though, and doing some fucking Valorant moves with the kitchen knife, basically insinuating like, come get some, bitch. As Kristen's about to duel her ass with the butter knife though, James gets his ass thrown into the living room, all battered to shit. The blonde chick looks at Kristen and goes, "You're gonna die." Sackboy comes flying in from the rafters like the Kool-Aid man and knocks Kristen out on her ass. Poor Mike, man, look at his fucking face. Disgrace. It's now early morning, and James and Kristen are tied up, facing down the 3 bad bitches. Sackboy really needs to fix that fucking posture though. Dude's gonna get scoliosis hovering around there like that. Kristen asks yet again, why are they doing what they're doing to them? And then we get one of the coldest lines ever in a horror movie.
Why are you doing this to us? Because you were home.
Even Sack knew that shit went insanely hard. You could tell by his cute little head tilts. The killers remove their masks because at this point, they don't give a shit about anyone seeing their faces because they know these two are just about to be diced to hell. Kristen begs for her life one last time, but the killers just start taking turns hacking away at them. We now catch up to the little Jehovah boys as they run into the strangers fleeing the scene. The blonde chick hops out to ask them for a pamphlet and confesses that she's sometimes a sinner. It's okay, only sometimes, like fucking, I don't know, parking in an illegal spot or something. Then she hits the gang with saying,
"It'll be easier next time."
And just like that, they piss off into the wind, never to be seen again. Back at the house though, the Jehovah Boys finally roll up to find Kristen laying on the floor all battered and bloody and, you know, stabbed. And that's it. We don't get to see the Goon Squad again until nearly 10 years later for the sequel. Imagine. Although this movie doesn't objectively have too much going on, it's one of the few that, between the suspense, the killer designs, and the overall atmosphere, it's what makes it stand out for me. They do it in a way where it actually works. I think also partly just because the realism. I think I'm definitely more of a fan leaning towards the realistic horror. If you would want me to do a video on Pray at Night, I haven't seen that since like the beginning of the channel, so like 3 years ago. Let me know by hitting that like button, subscribe, let me know in the comments, that way I can actually gauge it. See you in the next one.